Cool. So I'm here today with Sizwe Cele,
Yeah.
the founder of Khomba and
Softly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you.
What did your entrepreneurial journey look like? How did you get started?
It was brutal. It started out of needing to survive, obviously. I just dropped out of mechanical engineering at CPUT in Cape Town, and I needed something to do. And I had various options. Because of the course I studied, I picked up a lot of very good skills. I could have taken any direction. And for a good year, I was just struggling to figure out what to do. But then because I had started designing and doing a bit of coding in varsity, it just felt like the right thing. It just flowed. So I was lucky enough to meet very talented people across sectors, but also in design and technology and software. They were generous enough to expose me to how the industry works, etc. And I just fell in love. It just worked. Even now, I feel like I'm cheating because it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything, and yet there's food in my tummy. And yeah.
So you dropped out of university. You are exposed to designers, people that know how to code, and basically you're just trying things out. You're just playing around, creating things.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So you fell in love with that creation side, I guess.
Yes.
That is not really taught in schools usually, so you have to kind of come up with it through your environment and by yourself, and teach yourself, I guess.
Yes, my friends from varsity were also generous. They'd give me their textbooks and I'd read, and obviously use the internet, on lynda.com and the likes, and just pick up a skill. I remember I started out with SEO and PPC, found it too easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm just saying I just wanted a different technical and creative challenge. And we just had various ideas, and I've always been a believer, even though I didn't know how to articulate it, but I've always been a believer of creating stuff or products or solutions that are driven towards problems we have in Africa. I remember one of the apps we built was a platform called Pristine. We even won a Microsoft hackathon and a whole bunch of things in Cape Town. So that the idea there was to have an app that helps people report unsanitary conditions, spaces. So take just simple app, just pull out your phone, take a picture of a leaking pipe, I don't know, whatever, a very dirty area. And you submit it with a geotag of the location, and that's sent straight to the municipality, which then escalates it to a supplier to deliver. But that didn't go anywhere, in fact, because we didn't have the capital and we were young. We were 20, 21, we were so young.
So you started actually using the things you're learning to build the first things, although they didn't necessarily become businesses.
Yes. So I've always wanted to build products. From my first ideas have always been about products, but obviously life is life. I had to survive. Now I remember I built I tried building a plant hiring platform, an app where a web and mobile app where people can hire engineering equipment from peer-to-peer hiring, from other construction and manufacturing businesses. But that was hard. It was actually, come to think of it, I remember I'd call guys at Caterpillar and say I have the solution, list your products here and whatever, and they didn't, because come to think of it now, who was gonna give some black 21-year-old dropout the equipment worth millions and millions of rands with no credit line on top of that. So, but it was also I think even that experience helped me a lot now in terms of building some stuff. But then there was a good I call it the dark years where Like I freelanced for ad agencies, and like now it was now moving from shifting building products and not getting investors, not getting clients. So like, okay, fine. Now I'm sitting on all of the skill. Maybe let me try build apps for other people. Let me help them put together their digital solutions. Or
so that was your real business, the first real business that was generating
revenue. And like like freelancing. Like so I freelanced for a few years. I remember like 2 years. Then I started like getting confident. Like put together a team of like 5 people. Like okay, fine. Now let's hunt for contracts. Then that confidence sent me back into trying to build products, which led straight into, I remember, this is so interesting. So, we freelanced for a few years for like ad agencies like Worldwide Creative, Ogilvy, whatever. And then I remember the work started stacking up. Then I recruited like 4 guys, because we were a team of 5. Set up a small office in Cape Town and started hunting for contracts, like retainer contracts, like digital contracts, like whatever, for online ads, online marketing, web build, website stuff, apps, whatever.
So you would just sell out your time, your capacity on a monthly basis to customers. How did you reach out to them? How did you go hunt for them?
I was lucky. I've always been positioned well. I mean, like the first client was DataFin Recruitment. This is like the biggest IT recruitment company in South Africa. And how that happened, I was building the plant hiring app, and the lady that owns it, Lindy Solinger, amazing woman, amazing, beautiful heart, beautiful mind. She had her daughter and her daughter's best friend, who was black, so she's Jewish, and the daughter's best friend is a closer black girl from the township. They were struggling with math. And she found out that I studied engineering, and she was like, "Can you help them with math?" I was like, "Yeah, like the thing is, math is easy. You should always study to understand, not to pass. Like you need to study to understand, don't study to pass." So I had hacks. Like I'd study math with a dictionary. Like things like I can't come across a word, and if I don't understand that word, how am I going to understand the general concept? Yeah. So helped the young ladies. I remember their marks moved from like mid-40s to like mid-80s. So we went straight to like 8, because they were in grade 11. So they had to increase their marks to get into university. Then we just built a relationship, and she started outsourcing her digital work to me, like online marketing, online ads, her website. And then because she's a recruitment company, she was tethered to other businesses. She referred me to guys. I met guys like Andrew Connold and Iqbal Souvier, guys that own Segunjalo Investment. They took I remember I was pitching the plant hiring concept to them, and like, okay, look, saying that you can do this, can you help? We have a software company that does this. We have an ad agency that does this. Can you help them? So I was lucky in that sense. So yeah.
Okay. So you were still pitching your products, but they were interested in your skill.
Like people, they're like, oh, this whatever. Yeah. So yeah, but it was like nice.
Okay. So you built your agency. Let me call it an agency.
Yeah.
But then you built your confidence and you went back to the products.
Yes. Okay. So that always. So like I remember. A good like 2-3 years. 2 years were nice, like from an freelance agency, and then I was like, it's just boring, like and like I'm grateful for all the opportunities and all the work, because and I'm grateful to like the marketing and advertising community, because like they were the most open-minded in terms of like trying out like this new skill. But like I just didn't find it challenging enough, and I still don't. And like from an ethical end, there are things I'm not comfortable with in terms of like advertising and marketing and like this. So then obviously because that's playing in the back of my mind, I'm remembering other ideas. Like I remember I wanted to build a platform where agents could resell. Like I was like, why do we need estate agents? Let's just digitize this whole process. Chased after that for like 6 months, ran out of money.
And had to go back to the agency work.
Yeah. Then, but like when I turned like 26, I don't want to do agency stuff anymore. Like I promised myself. Like I moved back home, moved back to Johannesburg. I stayed with my parents for like a year, or my aunts, who are my parents, for like a year, just building product. And I didn't want the stress of, and people are still calling me like, we need work. I'm like, no, I'm building this one thing. I'm building this one thing, and yeah.
So you, from your heart, you say, okay, I don't want to do this. This is not challenging. This is not my path. And in order to kind of reinvent yourself in your journey, you say, okay, let me downgrade everything that I have on a material level.
Gave away my furniture. I gave away my car. I had like a 1988 BMW Kusheshe. Well, like I owed my mechanic money, and I was like, okay, just take the car.
Wow.
And it was like a 30,000 rand car, so like I owed him like $5,000. I was like, just take the car, I'm leaving, you know. And gave my furniture to some of my close friends, my girlfriend at the time, ex-girlfriend. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay at home, build products. I don't want to sell time. I don't find some of these problems challenging enough. I don't care about an emailer that a hotel has to send to people. I don't care. So yeah.
Okay, so it actually became about focusing on things that you care about. Now, how did you eventually learn to build a business not around your time and your skills, but rather around the products and the solutions that you want to deliver?
From others, like I just studied other businesses. I still do. Like the last month, I've been studying Berkshire Hathaway, because like now I'm teaching. For the last year, my focus has been improving leadership skills and improving my understanding around the business of the business. Even though my deepest competence and even comfort is the production and creative end, the engineering, the design, and whatever. I love that side, and like I'm lucky enough to have like great partners and great investors who understand that like that's where I want to sit, and they allow me to sit there, you know. But some guys, like some relationships we have, like they strictly want to talk to me, so and I don't mind that too, because like you also can't be too untethered, like you can't be in a vacuum. You need to stay close, listen. So like how I learned how to, like, because I looked into like subscription-based businesses, and like how like the idea, like I just went to fundamentals, like the idea of selling time versus a product. What's a product? What is time? How do you value that time? How do you value the product? And the concepts around software as a service, which is essentially a product, and studied businesses that do that. I just looked into how other guys do it and like asked questions. Like I asked my mentors, got books, read like hundreds of books just to wrap my head around stuff.
Then from that tinkering at home and building products, what was the first thing that you came out with that you would say, you know, that worked?
My word, that was crazy, because I built an education platform. It took me like 4 or 5 months to build it, and I was building it locally, and my Mac crashed. And I went into and I went to this super depression. I was so depressed. I was so sad, and I already had schools lined up. You know, because while I was building, I was talking to some principals, going to them like, what if it did this? What if it did this? Go back and build and whatever. And then and it crashed. And obviously, I was working with some people, and they were disappointed. And then from there, I met like literally a month after that. Started connecting with guys at Dimension Data, and they were looking into the Wi-Fi stuff, how they can mine insights through Wi-Fi and whatever. And then put together a business, a product called Social Wi-Fi together. And yeah, that was cool, and that took like 6 months to start making money. Okay. But like that whole period was so painful and so intense. So yeah.
So that's Sockley, right?
Yeah, we started it through Celestial, and because Celestial was an digital agency.
That was the agency that you had before, so you used that as the vehicle to
build
the products.
Yes.
Okay.
Then realized, this is a bit messy. This has to be separated, and I realized that late, because with Sockley we created it out of because we were thinking like, what happens? Why aren't social spaces digital? You know, so like that was the thinking. So how do we digitize social spaces? And social spaces being restaurants, social spaces being hotels, social spaces being events. Like, why can't we do this? And we did it. And some of the products, they like, I remember we had this thing called a Pebble, like a disposable charger. That thing was crap. Like, because that was also digitizing the social space. It was like, okay, people can't use the Wi-Fi if the phones are off. So let's have something quirky and cute. But to be honest, like, that was a bad idea. Terrible. It got conversations, like, it opened some doors and like, because of the quirk. But like, you can tell, like, people, after 30 seconds of unpacking it, people get underwhelmed. But, and also like, and the fact that we weren't involved in the production process of that product.
So that's something that you sourced from outside?
Yeah, we sourced from outside. We were reselling it. And like, I think that's another reason why, like I feel like it failed, because we didn't have control of what the product is and what it does and how well it can do it. And also the thinking was shit. Like, why? Yeah.
Why have a disposable device?
Yeah.
Create more trash. So why did you? I mean, the Sockley as a business or Celestia as you had it then was still successful. The core solution was working. Why do you think you launched this product that you say now it was a really bad idea? Where did you come from back then?
I think it was desperation. Like, I was working with someone and he came up with it, and I was getting into a zone where I wanted to work with people. Like, okay, like, embrace other people's ideas, thoughts. They embrace yours. Be fair, be understanding, be open. And like, I just decided, let me just trust other people more, which was a terrible idea. And because that landed us into debt, you know. And I wasn't even that excited about the product. Like, yes, I was, at the time, like, I was running the business with a friend and my ex-girlfriend. And I think it's easier to lie to each other. Like, I think friends just lie to each other. Like, we're just trying to make each other feel good. Yeah. It's not about like there was no honesty about like actually.
Okay, where are we going with this?
Like, what's the like, you know? But like, we like the list. Like, that's who we're targeting. That's what we're doing. You know, this is our process. But like what are we solving really? Like, what's the fundamental problem? And what's the core of the solution? We didn't think deeply about that, and because we didn't think deeply about that, we didn't work deeply.
But the core idea behind social Wi-Fi was still valid, right? Because
yes.
you initially validated it by building it for a customer, right?
Yes. So like, that worked well. Like, that was cool. We'd get some events, good, amazing events, get great restaurants, News Cafe, Life Grand Cafe. Even got to work with FIFA and Coca-Cola through that. And like, it's such a great business. I mean, like, but like, because it's technically not challenging, but like, and the margins are so good. So like, it's just. But now, like, I have this demon where I'm always looking for hard things to do. Yeah. like.
So you want to challenge yourself constantly.
Yeah. So I'm learning that that's not how wealth is created. Like, you don't like, you solve a hard problem once and you move on to another hard one. Like, just solve it and generate revenue of that for milk it for as long as you can.
That kind of leads us to Khomba, right?
Yeah, yes.
So how did you decide to? Okay, you have Sockley up. Okay, you had a loss maker now with Pebble, which you dropped, but the core business of Sockley works.
The Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi works. Even now, we are about to announce some really cool stuff. I'm very happy.
Okay, so that business is up and running. Then, what made you launch Khomba as a second business? How did that come about?
Khomba goes back to my love for Africa and goes back to my passion to like identify African problems and solve African problems. I mean, like, one of them being the movement of people in South Africa. And like, right now, no one moves people better than the minibus taxi market. And like, when you look at it, like, it's underserviced from every end. I mean, like, those guys are independent. They buy their own cars, they create their own routes, they do their own pricing thing, and the government doesn't help them, and private sector also doesn't help them, you know. And so we I just felt Meko and I felt like my business partner felt we can make it better, and you know we knew that we don't need to build an Uber to make it better. We knew it. We need to respect that specific like in this sector as is, understand it, go deep, and yeah.
Don't create something entirely new, but serve the system that's already there.
Digitize what's there.
Yeah.
Because you don't, I don't think hailing will have much scale in Africa.
Yeah. So, how did you know what these guys, you know, the drivers of the minibuses, what they needed, you know, what they would appreciate, how you could help them run their businesses more effectively, and also help the commuters, of course?
Okay, how we started out is like we decided to build like a commuter focus app. And the idea there was like, okay, this app has to help commuters find routes, ranks, information, signs, etc. Then while we were building it, we realized that, oh man, like this commuter end, because we did all types of things. We'd go to taxi ranks, mine information, like, because that information is not digitized. So like now imagine like this white boy and a black boy going to taxi ranks in townships and CBDs, CBD, and
so the two of you just went there and collected data, talked to the people.
Yeah. And which led to us learning so much about the chain, like because like now obviously you're not going to get there and people just give you information. You end up spending time with the guys and they tell you that, okay, this is the role of a queue marshal, or no, this is the relationship between the queue marshal and the driver, or this is the relationship between the driver and the owner. So a queue marshal is the guy that conducts the lines, like conducts the vehicles when they get to taxi ranks, and the people, like, okay, fine, there's the taxi for these people.
He stays at the taxi ranks and
coordinates just that movement.
Oh, okay.
So like we saw, when we were building the community app, we were like, oh no, like we did not think about this deep enough. We need to go back to the drawing board because this chain is so long. For you to solve this one, you have to solve everything. So yeah, and we were lucky enough that we figured that out.
And then, okay, so you started building something, but then you, through market research, actually, you figured out, okay, what's actually needed, and what did you focus on? What's the product now?
So now, like, the product is centered around just movement through public transportation, helping owners manage their fleet, helping drivers find commuters, helping commuters find safe routes, information, etc. So that's the suite, you know. So like, we built a tracking and telemetry end for the owners. We built a solution for drivers to help them find commuters, and we built a commuter-focused solution, and they all just tie back together into one ecosystem.
Sizwe, how do you manage this? Now you have two proper businesses up. How do you manage it? How do you organize your time? How do you do it?
I just have to-do lists. Like, I just read the to-do list. I wake up early. I've always been an early riser, and I've always been a busybody. So, which is something I'm trying to kill, because at first, I believe work hard, put in hours, but I'm realizing that no, effectiveness is not that. I'm focusing more on being effective than being hardworking. You know, your impact, just make your 3 hours feel like 30 hours, you know. So, so there's that, which is a very small fraction. The big part is working with amazing people. So Sockley, work with very amazing and very talented people there. Khomba, we work with very, very amazing and very, very talented people there. And sometimes you think you have a problem, and then someone else fixes it and you go, okay, thank you. You know, so I think the balance is driven mainly by let me not lie, there's no balance yet, right? So there's still it's a bit chaotic, like bouncing around it, but things get done because of how intelligent and talented people are in Sockley and how intelligent and talented people are in Khomba.
So how do you find these intelligent people, and where you say, okay, that's a team that's working, that's a team that I can trust, that's a team that's solving problems even while I think, okay, maybe I have to do that, and then you wake up and say, okay, cool, it's already done.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to master that. So, the cool thing about talented and intelligent people now is that they're always looking to do something dope, something great, right? So I guess like at its core, like the purpose and the function and the problem that Khomba's trying to solve is pretty grand. So usually intelligent and talented people gravitate towards things like that. So I guess like I'm still learning, like if you have the product is good, but like if the vision is good enough, people just get attracted to it. Obviously you also attract terrible people. I mean, like we've worked with people, I remember we've assigned a PR agency to do some stuff, PR team to do some stuff, and they were always like inaccessible, but like they appeared great and smart. Imagine you call them, like someone's on a retainer, you ask them for whatever work, and like they tell, no, I'm in New York, and that's scary. It's a bit scary. And like when there's some engineers we've trusted, and realize this guy actually, you know what? These people actually don't know what they're doing. But what I'm realizing is that like the guys who know what they're doing are the guys who care about the vision, who care more about the vision and care more about the product than they do about their own skill and their education and their, so like creativity is not a friend of ego. Like as soon as like there's ego in creativity, then nothing happens, because now instead of you focusing on creating, like people end up focusing more on like them, like I don't know how to explain, like what they can do instead of like what the product should be. And like you think, okay, it's cool, you have this great set of skills, but we just want 2. We don't want all 10. Can we just have 2 to channel that? So yeah, but it's like, so yeah, but we still kind of getting it right. We're getting there. And I think the team
But it makes a lot of sense to me to say, look, if I am a creator and a change maker and I'm already proven that I will actually do what I'm saying, and then you have a great vision that, other great people will gravitate towards that if they are aligned with that vision. Because you're not just a talker, and everyone wants to, I think purpose is such a deeply fulfilling thing. If you feel that, and good ideas, they will have that, and satisfy that part of you that wants to have a purposeful life, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Let me ask you, you mentioned a couple of challenges. You mentioned losing money, you mentioned all of these things. How do you deal with that,
Prayer. Like I pray a lot, I meditate. I guess that's where the balance comes from. Especially of late, money comes in, I pray. Money leaves, I pray. I have a bad day, I pray. I get sad, I pray. Like just everything now, like it's almost to a point where I get uncomfortable leaving the house without praying, or like when I'm in a small challenge, like I just pray about it, like, okay, God, please give me an idea, like just give me an idea, like a solution, like so there's that, and I have an amazing support structure. I mean, like the people like Hlubi and Milasi Mzamo who have basically adopted me, or like parents to me. They constantly guiding me. These are like industrialists, like amazing genius industrialists. So like in Zulu there's an expression that says indlela ibuzwa kuba phambili. You ask for directions from those who are ahead. So like I've always been able to ask for help. I've always been able to ask for advice, information. I've a good relationship with guys like Sizwe. He's an amazing, good person. He has a good heart and he's so smart. And sometimes I remember I had a challenge with BAT, British American Tobacco. One of the employees wanted a bribe. They weren't paying. I just spoke to Sisa about that. I was like, no, Sizwe, just pray about it and the solution will come. Prayed about it, sent them a long email telling them to like go wherever. And yeah. And I could have been more tactful though. But I don't regret it. Like, those people are clowns. Like, yeah, so yeah.
I have 2 more questions. My first question would be, if right now you could partner with anyone and ask them for anything, who would you partner with and what would you ask them for?
Oh shit. You know what I realized? I realized that like I'm in a position where I work with absolutely everyone who I want to work with. Yeah. In the country at least. I don't know.
You got the right team already.
So like we work, we have access, like we collaborate with like really smart guys. Like I've always wanted to connect with the CSIR and now we've connected, like always wanted to work through a university, like now we're working with VITS on some research. I don't know. Right now it's just like, I'm really happy with the people I get to work with. Like everyone I've ever wanted to work with, I've managed to work with. I've access to. Like in the country, at least. Like, I don't know who I'd like to work with in.
How do you reach out to these people? How do you establish these partnerships, these mentorships?
Yo, it's luck. Like I meet people in a lucky way. Like you think like, I don't know, you were this person, you know, and also I ask. Like I'm always asking. What's that expression, like a closed mouth can't be fed. Like I'm always asking. I'm always like I ask people like, do you know? And luckily the person is right there and you think, oh, okay, cool. You know, and so much luck. It's just a lot of luck. It's so much luck. There's some bad luck, but like I guess that's what hard work and intelligence is there for. But like there's so much luck. It's real.
Then my final question would be, what would be your advice to young South African today?
I'm trying to think what I would tell myself when at a young age. Just keep picking up skills, keep reading, and pray. You know, like I think like we don't put enough emphasis on spiritual, like your spiritual investments, like, you know, investing yourself spiritually. We don't put enough efforts into that. So like between like pray, pick up skills all the time. Like do not be afraid to just pick up a new skill, you know, whether it's like gardening or writing or coding, it doesn't matter, or welding. You know, like information can never be redundant, ever. So always look for new information, new skills, and pray. Pray. So yeah.
Thanks a lot for sharing that.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.